The first thing I registered was the cold weight of the cardboard box being pressed into my arms. Then, Mark's hand, firm on the small of my back, guiding me, no, propelling me, through the sea of cubicles, my heels caught on the industrial carpet. It's a strategic pivot, Chloe. Your role is no longer viable. His voice was a calm, professional dagger, meant for everyone's ears. My face was on fire. 100 eyes watched, some wide with shock, others quickly dropping to computer screens in feigned ignorance. He walked me, his girlfriend of 2 years, to the glass doors like a perp walk. He leaned in, his lips brushing my ear, and whispered the words that would haunt me. Don't take it so hard. You'll miss me when I'm gone. The elevator doors slid shut, sealing me in a tomb of silence. The muzak was obscene. I stared at my reflection in the polished brass, a ghost in a blazer, holding a box containing a wilting succulent, a half-used lipstick, and the shattered pieces of my professional life. My breath hitched. I didn't cry. I was too numb for tears. This wasn't a layoff. This was a sacrifice. My name is Chloe Miller. Until 60 seconds ago, I was a junior marketing associate at Titan Strategies. And the man who just fired me, Mark, was my mentor, my boyfriend, the one who told me just last night over a bottle of wine he'd brought to my apartment that I had nothing to worry about. He lied. As my Uber pulled away, my phone vibrated. A text from my only work friend, Leah. It's Amanda, the VP's niece. They just announced her new role, Strategic Initiatives Lead. It's your job, Chloe. Mark is her manager. He knew... The words blurred. He didn't just fire me. He gutted me to make room for his boss's incompetent niece, securing his own promotion. He used my key card to get into the office last night. He knew. I spent 3 days in the dark. Grief is a physical thing. It sat on my chest, a lead weight. I missed his laugh. I missed our plans. I missed the man I thought he was. You'll miss me when I'm gone. His words were a curse. I cried until I was empty. And in that emptiness, a new feeling sparked, cold, hard, focused. I stopped crying and started researching. I scoured LinkedIn, industry news, anything. I needed a target. And I found him. Arthur Sterling, a reclusive tech billionaire. His philanthropic foundation was a sleeping giant with a multi-billion-dollar endowment and the marketing savvy of a stone. They were a global joke. Titan had tried to land them for years and failed. Perfect. For 2 weeks, I lived on coffee and rage. I crafted a 50-page proposal for the Sterling Foundation. It wasn't just good, it was a work of art. I used every secret I'd learned at Titan and improved upon them. I exposed their weaknesses and offered my solutions. I emailed it from my new professional account, Chloe Miller and Associates. The shot was fired into the dark. The silence was a vacuum. Refreshed my email until my finger ached. I saw Mark and Amanda on Instagram, toasting at a company event. He looked victorious. My resolve wavered. This was a fool's errand. I was a nobody. The despair started to creep back in. When the call came, I almost didn't answer. Palo Alto on the caller ID. A woman's voice, crisp and efficient. Miss Miller? Evelyn Reed, Chief of Staff to Arthur Sterling. Mr. Sterling was captivated by your document. He'd like a meeting. Can you fly out tomorrow? I slid down my kitchen wall, hand over my mouth, stifling a sob of pure, unadulterated shock. His office was all light and silence. Arthur Sterling was a man of few words, his gaze unnervingly direct. I presented my plan. He listened, utterly still. Finally, he spoke. You diagnosed a cancer my entire team has been politely calling a cold. Why send this to me? I met his eyes. Because you're the only one with the power to cut it out, and I'm the only one brave enough to hand you the scalpel. He hired me on a 3-month consulting contract. The fee was more than my annual salary at Titan. My first project, a local initiative, outperformed its goals by 400%. Arthur started forwarding me emails from skeptical board members. He was testing me. I answered every challenge with cold, hard data and relentless grace. Leah sent me a screenshot of an internal Titan memo. Subject: Competitive analysis, Sterling Foundation's alarming new traction. The assigned lead? Mark. He was being forced to dissect my success, with no idea the architect was the woman he'd tossed aside. The poetic justice was so sharp it took my breath away. Arthur called me into his office. The board is astonished, he said, a faint smile on his lips. We're launching the Future Vision campaign. I'm putting you in charge. The budget is $15 million. The number hung in the air, a monument to my revenge. I had just been entrusted with more power than Mark could ever dream of. I crafted a perfect proprietary piece of strategy, a digital engagement tool. I let Leah overhear me talking about its core concept on a fake phone call in a public place, knowing she'd report it to Mark. The bait was set. A shark like Mark couldn't resist taking credit for a brilliant, unattributed idea. 2 weeks later, Leah's message was a single word. He took it. Titan had pitched a nearly identical concept to their most important client, a retail giant. Mark presented it as his own groundbreaking work. He had stolen from me, again. But this time, I had the receipts. The Future Vision campaign launched. It wasn't a success, it was a cultural reset. It was everywhere. My name was in the credits as campaign lead. The press called me a prodigy. My quiet, methodical rise was now a roaring avalanche. Leah reported the atmosphere at Titan was toxic. Their retail client was furious, accusing them of plagiarism after seeing the superior Sterling campaign. Mark was circling the drain, blaming his team, his arrogance now reading as desperation. The walls were closing in. Arthur invited me to his annual foundation gala, the social event of the season. Wear something unforgettable, Evelyn advised. The world will be watching. This wasn't just an event, it was my coronation. Before the gala, Arthur seemed almost nervous. Chloe, the press, they spin stories about me. To avoid tedious speculation, would you mind if we presented a united front tonight? It would give the gossips something harmless to focus on. I agreed. It was a small price to pay. We walked the red carpet. He offered his arm. I took it. Cameras flashed. He leaned in to say something about the crowd, his head tilted toward mine. I laughed at his dry remark. A photographer captured that exact moment. We looked intimate. We looked like a unit. I woke up to a phone on the verge of melting. The headline from a global business tabloid was everywhere. Who is the billionaire's mystery fiancé? Meet Chloe Miller, the secret weapon behind the Sterling Foundation's stunning revival. I stared at the word. Fiancé. The world had just handed me a weapon I never asked for. My personal phone rang a number I knew by heart. Mark. His voice was broken, stripped of all its smooth confidence. Chloe, my God, please. You have to help me. They're firing me for gross incompetence. The client is suing. Tell them it was a coincidence. Tell them we collaborated. Tell them anything. You owe me. I let him ramble. I let him beg. I let him unravel completely on the other end of the line. I said nothing. I just breathed, letting him hear the vast, untouchable silence that now separated our worlds. His destruction was complete, and it was entirely of his own making. When he finally ran out of air, I spoke. My voice was calm, clear, and absolute. You were right, Mark. I do miss you. I let the hope flicker in the silence. I miss the woman I was before you showed me how strong I could become. Thank you for making her gone. I ended the call. I blocked his number. I never heard from him again. I never corrected the headline. Arthur and I found it darkly amusing. The scandal donated millions to the foundation. I used my newfound, fearsome reputation to build my own consulting empire. I didn't destroy him with a shout. I outgrew him with a silence so profound it became my greatest power. He's a ghost from a life I can barely remember. And I am so magnificently, unapologetically free.